Hey Spurs fans, Vicky here for Project Spurs Network. We're just over 3 weeks into the 2018-2019 regular season, and in their first season without a member of the Big Three of Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, the San Antonio Spurs, coming off a 2-game losing streak, are currently in the 4th spot of the Western Conference with 6 wins and 4 losses. The 6 wins the Spurs do have at this point came thanks to a few amazing performances from first-year Spur DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan, who, as we all know, was acquired as part of the notorious Kawhi Leonard trade during the offseason, is averaging about a point less than his career best with 26.4 points per game. This makes him the 9th leading scorer in the league at this point. He's also averaging a career high in both assists with 6.8 and rebounds with 6.4 per game. Now, I know we can't get carried away just yet since it is only 3 weeks into the regular season and the Spurs obviously have many challenges ahead of them. Also, the Spurs are only averaging a 1.1 point differential and are arguably in their worst defensive form of the entire Greg Popovich era. Still, this team, whose current active roster has as many new faces as old, has shown true effort while making strides to improve and grow together as a unit. As my fellow Project Spurs writer Stephen Anderson mentioned in his recap of San Antonio's win against the Lakers on October 27th, for the first time this season, the Spurs displayed a decent defensive performance when keeping Los Angeles to only 24 points in the second quarter and just 18 in the fourth. While defensive chemistry seems to be improving, the Spurs' offense started off well to the point that they ranked second in the league in three-point field goal percentage with an average of 41.3% after their first 2 weeks. After these last 2 losses, however, they've dropped to the 4th best three-point shooting team, averaging 38.2% from beyond the arc. As any NBA fan would agree, this league has increasingly become a competition of who can outshoot whom from beyond the arc. With that said, the Spurs, in the 10 games they've played this season, have proven that they have the potential to keep up with three-point power teams such as the Golden State Warriors. Offensively, the Spurs are performing pretty well. The competence and confidence of this year's squad is exciting to watch and promising when looking ahead into the meat of the season and hopefully eventually the playoffs. Now, a name I haven't mentioned yet but is still an integral force on this team, LaMarcus Aldridge, cannot be forgotten. LaMarcus showed what he was capable of last year when he single-handedly carried the team throughout the season despite the drama that was Kawhi Leonard. Aldridge proved his loyalty, dedication, and capability to San Antonio, and he deserves to be recognized for that and remembered. This season, Aldridge is nearly averaging a double-double with 18.6 points and 9.8 rebounds a game. With both Aldridge and DeRozan consistently playing well and playing well together, not to mention the added benefit of Rudy Gay, Marco Bellinelli, Bryn Forbes, and Patty Mills all averaging over 10 points a game, this team's potential is pretty awesome. Although not as consistent as any Spurs fan might want it to be, the cohesiveness of this year's Spurs team is already visible. Last season, the biggest struggle the Spurs faced game in and game out was not being able to provide enough support for LaMarcus Aldridge. This season, the Spurs have DeMar DeRozan, who, along with Aldridge, the obvious 2 leaders on this roster, have been able to depend on their supporting cast, game in and game out. Of course, it's still too early in the season to make any kind of predictions, and who knows what this season has in store for the Spurs. San Antonio obviously has room to improve in many areas, especially on defense. Additionally, Derek White just made his return from injury, and Spurs rookie Lonnie Walker has yet to make his Spurs regular season debut. However, for a season that looked pretty bleak after the loss of DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Lonnie Walker to injuries all in a matter of days, San Antonio is rising to the occasion, and I, for one, am enthusiastic about how this team will progress. Coach Pop obviously would agree, as he was quoted saying, "The communication of the team is getting better. It's going to be a process, but they're on the right track of learning how to play well with each other. The Spurs will continue this process against the Rockets Saturday at 7:30 in San Antonio. For Project Spurs, I'm Vicky Villarreal Grajeda.